I think the network seems okay. You seem controlling okay, so I think the network is fine. Mm. បាទជំរាបសួរទូរទស្សនិកជនជាទីមេត្រីបាទសូមស្វាគមន៍មកកាន់កម្មវិធីជួបជាមួយនឹងខ្ញុំថូនីនៅលើកញ្ចក់ទូរទស្សន៍ខ្មែរ TV ហើយថ្ងៃនេះយើងនិយាយអំពីខ្មែរ Success Story បាទហើយកម្មវិធីថ្ងៃនេះយើងមានកូនក្មេងកូនខ្មែរយើងម្នាក់ទៀតហើយដែលមានទេពកោសល្យខ្ពស់រៀនចប់ថ្នាក់ខ្ពស់ហើយធ្វើការនៅកន្លែងល្អហើយដូចជាមានការចំណេះចេះដឹងជាច្រើនហើយថ្ងៃនេះយើងក៏សូមអរគុណJanie ដែលបានអញ្ជើញចូលមករួមធ្វើកម្មវិធីនេះជាមួយនឹងខ្ញុំបាទហើយJanie បានកើតនៅHouston Texas ហើយរស់នៅនឹងសប្តាហ៍នេះរស់នៅនឹង Austin Texas បាទហើយកាលពីនាងធំឡើងគ្នាបានទៅUniversity of Texas ហើយបាន graduate degree នៅជាភាសាអង់គ្លេសបាទដូចថាបកកែណារៀនភាសាអង់គ្លេសកូនខ្មែរយើងសោះតែកើតមករៀនជាប់ជាភាសាអង់គ្លេសហើយនឹង minor ហ្នឹងបានន័យថា subject តូចដែលគាត់រៀនជាប់ចូលចិត្តហ្នឹងគឺខាង education គឺខាងបង្ហាត់បង្រៀនគេបាទហើយបន្ទាប់ពី graduate Jamie បានទៅធ្វើការនៅជាគ្រូបង្រៀនភាសាអង់គ្លេសបាន7ឆ្នាំបាទបន្ទាប់ពី7ឆ្នាំមកក៏បានទៅធ្វើ tennis coach បានន័យថាពួកអ្នកលេង tennis ហ្នឹងបាន6ឆ្នាំប៉ុន្តែឥឡូវនេះមកធ្វើការនៅក្រុមហ៊ុនមួយឈ្មោះ Khronos នៅទីក្រុង Austin ហ្នឹងបាទបាន2ឆ្នាំហើយបាទហើយបើហេតុដូច្នេះយើងចង់បង្បែរអារម្មណ៍ទូតែគេមកជួបជាមួយនឹងJenny បាទជំរាបសួរ Jenny សុខសប្បាយ
Hi ជំរាបសួរពូ
សុខសប្បាយថ្ងៃនេះហ៎អរគុណដែលបានចំណាយពេលដ៏មានតម្លៃមកចូលរួមធ្វើកម្មវិធីនេះជាមួយនឹងខ្ញុំបាទហើយមុននឹងចាប់ផ្ដើមនោះខ្ញុំតែងតែសួរគ្រប់គ្នាថាចង់ដឹងថាព្រោះឯកូនខ្មែរយើងជួនកាលកើតនៅស្រុកខ្មែរជួនកាលកើតនៅស្រុកអាមេរិកជួនកាលកើតនៅខេត្តដាងបាទហើយខ្ញុំចង់ដឹងថា Jamie កើតនៅតាណានៅ Texas ហើយ
ចា
បាទហើយពេលធំឡើងនៅ Texas ហ្នឹងយើងទៅរៀននៅសាលារបស់អាមេរិកាំងដូចជាសាលាដូចជាតាមពិតប្រកបគឺថា Junior High ឬក៏ High School អីហ្នឹងតើមានជួបនឹងការលំបាកអីខ្លះដែរអត់ទេកាលពេលជំនាន់ហ្នឹង
Yeah, I'm one correction. I was born in Houston, but yeah, in Houston, I went to a pretty diverse school district. So I grew up in a very Latino and Black community, and growing up, I think because you're around a lot of other brown students who look, similar and a lot of immigrant families, but it's not really any bullying per se. But I think one thing that I faced pressure growing up in school was feeling like I wasn't pretty enough or that I wasn't cool enough, because a lot of Khmer people, we tend to be more tan or more dark. So I felt some pressure, compared to a lot of the other Asian students, especially the other Asian girls who are very like fair skin or lighter. And I didn't always feel like I fit in with everyone because of, how brown I am or how my dark skin color, and I play outside a lot. But bullying wise, I didn't really feel like I got bullied. I think is just very normal. But if I think I grew up in a different area or different school district, then it probably would come up. I think I didn't really start to feel that until I went to the university, and it was different compared to where I grew up in Houston.
Well, I think probably you're absolutely right because your skin color is similar to the other students, so you kind of like in the same group, right? You say a lot of Hispanics and Black communities in where you at. Yeah.
Yeah, and, everybody thinks, are you Mexican?
That's right. Yeah, I guess that's why, because you play tennis a lot. I look sounds like, right? That's the reason why you play outside. So when you play outside, you get a lot of sun.
Yeah, very tan.
And that's what. That way. Well, actually, you probably get a lot of vitamin D. That way, you avoid the COVID also, because vitamin D will help, your immune system to protect from COVID. I guess that's what I heard anyway. Yeah. Yeah. So how does it how do you fit into university? Is it kind of like smoothly going from high school to university, or any challenges over there?
Yes. Going from high school, our school district is called Title One. So I don't know if you're familiar with the term Title One, but it's school districts or schools that have majority students who have free or reduced lunch. So a lot of students who need like assistance financially. And I think my school did an okay job educating me, motivating me, helping me to achieve what I need to be successful in college. However, when I went to the University of Texas here in Austin, it was very different because I was now surrounded with people who were not brown. Almost everybody was white. And when I went to my college classes, I was very capable and I did really well. I had like 3.8 GPA, but it was very intimidating. It was different because nobody can prepare you for that change. And I felt really scared a lot of times, and I was nervous to speak up to the professors or to speak up in discussion. I was a very shy child growing up, and then in high school, I became a little bit more outgoing and started to grow in that until college. And then I got more nervous again being in a different setting. So some people tell you, hey, you just need to get a high school diploma, get good grades, take AP classes, and then you get to college and you'll be okay. But nobody tells you, hey, these are the clubs you should join. This is, watch out for these kind of things. Try to, do internships or things like that. And I checked all the boxes for college, but I feel like I missed other opportunities because there was nobody to hand that down to me and teach me, because both of my parents are, from Khmer and survived the war. So they couldn't help me. They didn't know, what that experience is like. And I'm the oldest one in my family. So my younger sister and brother, they're not going to have advice. So I just, did all 4 years and graduated and, did what I was supposed to do. But I definitely feel like you don't always get the help that you need, or you don't always know what other opportunities are there to make it more meaningful, more profound, or how to increase like or supplement your education. I think I got a really good education once I figured out what I wanted to do. But it took a little bit of I was an undeclared major for the first year because I didn't really know what to do or what was going to be a beneficial thing to study. So I switched majors like 2 times, that kind of thing that you're not really sure who to talk to or where to go when you need that extra help.
Do you have counselor over there that you can actually go and talk to, tell about what what you want, or asking questions and stuff like that in college?
Yes, and a lot of colleges will have counselors and career centers. And I actually did go to one career center. They give you a test so you can see, hey, what are you interested in? And that helped me figure out that I wanted to study English, that maybe education would be the best fit for me because I do love to learn, and I feel like I really enjoy building relationships with people and communicating with people. So that led me to that. I think naturally you also have conversations with your friends or your roommates and you ask, hey, what are you studying? Or why are you going to pursue business or finance or, biology? But for those of us who maybe just aren't really sure, it can still be very intimidating. But I use the Career Center to help me figure that out.
Oh, that's pretty good. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I'm going to want to ask you more about college, because you seems like you know something that got left out. So I
Mhm.
want you to fill that gap for the other younger generation, so that they might know what when they prepare themselves for college, they can go check all the boxes. So it sounds like
Yeah.
you're missing something, right? So
Mhm.
when we come back, we're going to continue with that. Okay. Thì
Okay.
cam vị thi xong rồi bạn mình play set back. But so sakum talk mo bad. I want to ask you about the college. You said that that's something that you missed because you didn't know, because the parent come from Cambodia, and of course
Mhm.
I think a lot of our Cambodian kids that are born here, the first time when they go to college, I'm pretty sure that they don't know much about it, because the parent cannot do anything there. The parent hardly speak English, just like me.
Mhm.
Yeah, how would we know, because we never go to college? And since you are the oldest, you don't know anything about it. So how do you find information, or what are those information that those younger generation that need to know before they get into college? Can you share that with
Yeah.
us?
Yeah, that is a very good question. So, before college, there is a lot of pressure from high school to be successful and have a very impressive resume. And you get a lot of that in order to help you figure out what is your passion. And that's a very big question to answer at such a young age if you're only like 17, 18 years old. But in high school, I think I really enjoyed taking time going deep into what I enjoyed. So language and art. I really enjoyed my English classes and my art classes. And I think that being able to take the skills that I learned from high school, especially with reading and writing, that eventually influenced my major in college. But the thing that you should know in high school is to make sure that you're involved in extracurricular activities that you very much enjoy and that you can dedicate time to. And that actually is very important skill to translate into college. So, for instance, when I was a teacher, I had a lot of students who took pre-AP or AP classes, and I think that those are very good to take, even if it's just one or two. You want to show colleges that you can challenge yourself a little bit. So I took many actually AP classes, and I did pretty well in the class, okay on the test. But it still shows that you're willing to try, and you don't have to be straight A's to get into college. But I think that if you are at the end of the day interested and want to pursue higher education, you will learn so much in those 4 years, more than you probably will get an opportunity for. And your brain from 19 to 22 is the best time for you to really soak up all of that information that you want to pursue. But I think the main thing is try to have a good relationship with your school counselor and look for financial aid opportunities, and just be interested in just a few things. You don't have to know exactly what you want yet, but there are students who I have to, be valedictorian. I have to take all AP classes. I have to, cheat on everything just so that I can be the best. But I think that can be the wrong approach, because you don't really get to see and learn what you really enjoy. And so the students who I think were more interesting students when I was teaching were the ones who were in and participated in extracurricular activities they really actually cared about. And they took the classes that they wanted to challenge themselves in, but maybe they took a couple of on level classes that they knew they would struggle in more. So it really helps to know yourself.
Prepare, how was the high school prepare for college, and how about scholarship?
Mhm.
Let's say, like you said that you have like a 3.8 GPA. uh, who helped you write scholarship, write letter for scholarship, or where can you find it?
So in high school, I was an art student as well. So some of my awards were from art because I like to draw and do illustration. But I think one of the things that helped me to be so successful through high school and through college was because I am a huge reader and I love to read books. I like to play video games. I like to be online. I like to, be on social media. And we had just AOL Instant Messenger and the chat rooms in the 90s. So
Yeah.
we didn't have social media the way that it is now. However, we still were online. Sometimes my mom would get mad because I'm online so much. I'm on, chatting to my friends. But at the end of the day, I always made time to read books. It could be fiction, it could be history, it could be any kind of silly book, but I loved to read books. I didn't always like to read the books I was assigned by my teachers, but I did still read them. And I think that helped challenge me to know how to navigate things like how do I apply for social or financial aid when nobody's there to help me, is because I am pretty good at reading and I can understand hard language because I took time to ask questions in class in high school. And that's honestly what helped me. A lot of my college peers, when I went to college, a lot of the kids who grew up in very rich areas or had more privilege than me, they failed a lot of their assignments and papers because they were not good readers or writers. And because I was able to, maintain good grades, and that would help with getting grants from college. When I was in high school, I was the one who wrote my own scholarship entrance essays because I'm a good writer. So I just read a couple of example essays, and then I would work with my high school teacher to make sure that the essays make sense and it makes me look like an interesting and complex person, but that I really want to have passion. And I think if you are a person who is passionate and you're a good reader and a good writer, then the colleges will see that about you, and you're more likely to be accepted from that. But I think just understanding how to ask for help and be a resourceful person, that helped me to accomplish my goals.
Yeah, I think reading is probably the best way to get knowledge, because when you read, you learn not only how to write, but you also learn the vocabulary within the content of the book or whatever that
Mm-hmm.
you read. You can see how they write it, and you can also knows what are the words that they use, which is
Mm-hmm.
really really good. I for some reason I don't like to read too much English. Well, I mean, I hardly finish any book in English. But when I was young, when I was about 9 or 10 years old or 11, oh my God, I read books. I read, the Chinese movie, the series, the one like 40 uh Cambodian, they have like 40 tapes or 50 tapes, all of those. Your mom probably
Yeah.
watched one of those, I guess, right? I read
Yeah.
all of those books. The book is really thick. But when it
Yeah.
comes to English, I guess because I don't really know too much, that's why it's not read. But what because even though because I read those Khmer book, that
Mm-hmm.
knowledge is also allow me to do a lot of things in life even till today. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that's probably the best advice, that you have to read will
Mm-hmm.
give you knowledge, will make you learn a lot of things. Yeah. So going through college again, so you probably seem like a pretty smooth then when you are in college, so you don't have any problem because you're high school, you're really good in reading and you're really good in writing. And until when did you find out that you want to take English major instead of like accountant or doctors or something else? More parents probably say, okay, you got to take a doctor. That's what my family,
Yeah.
right? You got to be a
Yes.
doctor, you got to be an engineer, you got to be a lawyer. That's what Khmer is. So is there any issue with the parents that you take English, as your major subject?
Yeah, that is yes. So the reason why high school transition to or being accepted to college for me was very easy because I graduated number 6 in my high school class. Um, and in Texas, they had a very interesting rule for the University of Texas at Austin, Texas A&M, some other universities here that are state universities. I'm not sure if this applies to public or to private. I'm sorry. But the public universities, if you graduate top 10% of your class, then you're automatically accepted. So I automatically get accepted into college anyway because of my grades and my ranking. But I think however, when I did go to college, like I said earlier, it was still a big change. I think it's a big change for anybody because you're moving out of your parents' house into a completely different world. So it's not the easiest thing to prepare for. I went to college, and my parents knew that I was undeclared. My dad really, really wanted me to be a chemical engineer. And I was
I
like,
knew that.
why?
I knew
I am
that.
terrible. Yeah, I'm terrible at chemistry. I took in 10th grade for my advanced credit. I decided to take college chemistry when I'm only in 10th grade because our advanced classes you could take it either in school or you can earn extra credit during the summer if you took a summer chemistry class. So I took that and I struggled so much because it was among other college students and I'm only a high school student. And a lot of the vocabulary was very scary and I just felt like really unsure because I had no chemistry foundation. So one day I come home and I was crying to my dad because I said, this is too hard and I feel like I'm failing. And he was like, it's okay. I failed a lot in my English classes. And so he knew I was bad at chemistry, but he still wanted me to be a chemical engineer. I think because he worked in oil and gas, like in Houston. And so Houston is a big oil jobs and gas jobs. So he knew how much and how well chemical engineers get paid. And he just really wanted me to be successful
Yeah.
financially. But, I said, no, I'm not doing that. And I thought about doing graphic design and they were not happy about that. They were like, you're going to be poor. And so I just went in undeclared. And then I was at first I was an English and psychology double major, and then I decided to switch to just English because then I found the education certification program at UT, and they train you on how to be a teacher. And they were not that happy about it at first. They felt nervous because my parents and any parents really just want their child to be successful and not have to struggle, especially knowing all of the things that our community has gone through during the war. So my mom's first question is, well, you're not going to be a teacher forever, right? You're going to become principal. So they think, oh, no, what's number one in education? You could be superintendent. And I was like, no. But I think once they saw all of the work and the product of the passion that I had for it and the goodness of it, they calmed down. But it took them a little bit of adjusting that, okay, she's kind of stuck here, and they still wanted me to try something like medical school. But it's okay because now my younger sister is a pharmacist. She's a doctor of pharmacy. So they had a different child who got the doctor.
who
Not
who
me.
get who get what they want, right? Who get
Yeah.
what their wishes are. Yeah.
Yes.
That
Yes. One of us was going to.
Yeah. But I mean, that is most Asian parents always wish their children to be one of those, doctor or pharmacist or engineer or lawyer, because the reason is I can understand that the reason is because those job is always there for you, and
Mm-hmm.
I know English is too. Many other subject is also, but just that we are not get used to it.
Mm-hmm.
We get used to, okay, if you're a lawyer, 100% we know you're gonna have a job.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're an accountant, 100% we know you're gonna have a job. If you're a doctor, 100% we know you're gonna have a job. But we did not get used to any other major or any other subject or any other career. That's the reason why I think most Asian are like that. We're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, we're gonna continue a little bit more, and we can talk a little bit about what you do now. Okay? So
โอเค
ปิดคำวิธีส้มสำหรับหมวดแพทย์สันบัดបាទសូមស្វាគមន៍ត្រឡប់មកវិញបាទ would you now you finish college you become a teacher you go out and teach children for 6 years how do you like it with the teaching job is it kind of difficult there's so many crazy kids out there or what how do you like it
Yeah, education is one of the best jobs, the most rewarding job, and I think any teacher that you meet will tell you that. If you go in because you care about the community and you care about seeing and helping people, like nursing, just like a doctor, it's very similar in how you have a heart for people. Yes, there are going to be crazy kids. Yes, there are going to be kids who struggle or kids who are going to give you attitude. But if you are a person who understands that at the end of the day, they're children, and they're just very, silly sometimes. But if you really try to get to know them and you care about them, they will respect you. The teachers who have more trouble in the classroom, it's usually because they probably fight with the kid or disrespect the kid or don't think that they're very smart or good, so the kid thinks, oh, if they already think I'm bad, then I'm going to act bad. But I did this for 7 years and I absolutely loved it. I think the only reason was that I left was because I was also the head tennis coach, so I was right after school leading practice, taking, and I got a bus certification here in Texas. You have to know how to drive a school bus. So I'm driving them to their games and their tournaments. So it was very, very rough. 7 years, just, sometimes coming home at 11 o'clock at night and I was exhausted. And I think I got burned out from that. But I very much thoroughly enjoyed that profession.
wow wow it
Yeah.
seems like you start early in the morning and get home really late
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
I
So
would get to school you have to be, it depends on your school district you teach at. Some school districts start very, very early in Texas. So I'd have to get up at 5:30. Some start much later. So I would get up at 7, 8 o'clock and then work. But then I'm finished with everything with after school tennis practice at about 5:30, 6 o'clock, and then I'm home 6:30. But if there's games, then you're home like at 11 o'clock sometimes. So
so do you play tennis also, or do you just coach?
I
You
played
have to
tennis
know
in
how to
high
play, right?
school. Yes, my dad taught me how to play tennis when I was in second grade, and we would go to the park. And I'm probably the most athletic out of me and my sister. I have a younger brother who was born when I was in high school, so we have a big age gap. He just turned 16, so he's much younger than me. But me and him are very athletic. But it was just me and my sister for a long time. And I played tennis. I was a swimmer, and those were the two sports that I enjoyed a lot. And I played and participated in those sports, but I didn't play in college. I didn't get any kind of athletic scholarship or anything like that.
So how do you jump from teaching to this company is called Khronos, where training people how learn how to use your software? How do you jump from that? Because you like the job, good pay, and it's also in the social media sector where you really like it in the young day in the instant messenger, right? AOL instant
Mhm.
messenger. Is that the reason why you move from teaching to Khronos?
So I decided it took me about 2 to 3 years to really think about, do I want to leave education because it's for me or not? And I think anybody who does career change, it's very like hard to accept, is this what I really want to do from now on? And now that Austin is, growing, it's, like uh, San Francisco, they call Silicon Valley. And so they nickname Austin Silicon Hills because we're also a big tech boom here now. And I thought, okay, this may be an opportunity for me to really, yes, make more money, but two, to also grow professionally in a different field. So I actually encourage you and any students in college to you can still pursue anything that you want to. If you decide you want to study English, you still have a job opportunity in tech. If you want to study biology, you could still have a job in tech. I think where people think that you can't is because they just don't try to apply. But we have had product managers or project managers who their major in college was anthropology, where you study, people. So tech is very open to people who have different ideas. I think it does benefit you to have some background in advertising, marketing skills, even if you are interested in doing engineering, like doing computer science. So I think those are very helpful if you major in that specifically. But if you are an English major and you decide, I want to minor in computer science, that is probably what I would do if I was to do college over again, is to still pursue something that I'm passionate about, even if it's art, but also maybe take some tech classes. So I just on just randomly, apply to many different technology jobs. And the role that I am in, they were looking for somebody who had background in education or facilitation and those skills. So I was very comfortable with it. I'm very good at, setting objectives and helping people reach their goal. So that is actually, being a teacher is actually really good for learning and development roles in the tech world. And there are many jobs like that.
So this being a teacher will help you do what you do now, because what you do now you probably be standing in front of a lot of people, teaching them or showing them how to use the software that your company is producing right now or selling to
Mm-hmm.
them right now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So
We before the pandemic, we still did training over Zoom or over a video conference, but some customers will also ask, "Hey, we want you to train us on site," and so you can do presentations or you can facilitate, training development class in person.
you just have to wear a mask. That's it, right? I guess, right?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
haven't done it yet, but it just depends on their company policy, and they're still working it out. But eventually, we'll probably go back to in person if they purchase and if they request us to go on site. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's also based on the people who are interested to learn, either on site or remote. It's I to me, I don't think that it's much different because a lot of people probably learn from YouTube anyway, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah, by watching the YouTube video. I mean, I learned a lot of stuff from YouTube. Anything I got question, I just go YouTube. That's it. And then
Mhm.
it'll show and
Me
then just
too.
follow instruction, right?
Yeah.
Video
Mhm.
instruction is just not one, you have a person standing, telling you in front of you, and the other one is just in front of the computer. So to me, I mean,
Yeah, very
maybe other people
similar.
may be different. Yeah, yeah, but
Mhm.
exactly, very similar. Yeah. So, what do you have any plan in future? Are you going to be jumping into different things in the future?
Yeah, I am. I'm almost going to be 2-year anniversary soon in this job, and it goes by very fast. But I learned a lot more skills from that, like management skills, leadership skills. You know, working with engineers, and it helped spark. What else am I interested in if I wasn't doing this role anymore? I still enjoy this role, but I think eventually I will outgrow it, and I'm very interested in going up a couple levels. Eventually, I think I'm really interested in, leading a department, or being a project manager. I really, really enjoy coordinating and helping people reach those milestones. I think I'm a good organizer. So that's something that I think has always been a part of me, being a teacher, being a coach, like just being organized, being able to, make sure your timelines are straight. But I'm still learning to be product expert for the company, but I'm probably going to pursue, getting project management certification, and also maybe take a couple of like graphic design classes, or even a little bit of light coding as well. So that way I get, that similar language that I need to speak to my teammates. And then that way it can help, people understand, what are we discussing, what are we communicating, what's our goal. I can drive that. So eventually, like some kind of management role. At the end of the career, maybe I'll be, vice president of a department in a company. But it is very, very fun, and I feel like I'm learning all the time new things. So I think that's why it's been such an interesting and very fun role to be a part of.
That sounds very good because I guess you have to excel yourself every single time because you cannot be static. You cannot just, hey, you know what? I'm comfortable with what I'm doing now. But if you feel
Mm-hmm.
that you're comfortable with what you're doing now, you're going to stay the same thing. You're never going to go anywhere. But you have to
Yeah.
always think, hey, you know what? What's my next step? What's my next move here? And if I take this, and yeah, what's I like more? So always trying to push yourself to the
Mm-hmm.
highest possible, because if you don't, your body gonna keep you the same thing where you are. you
Mm-hmm.
know so
Yeah.
sounds
Yeah.
that yeah, that sounds very good.
Yeah.
You We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I'm going to talk a little bit about your, if you are interested in the art or do anything in the art. Okay, soពីកម្មវិធីសូមសម្រាប់មួយផ្លែសិនបាទ បាទសូមស្វាគមន៍ត្រឡប់មកវិញបាទ You also have interested in arts. Have you developed anything on that side of the of yourself? You've been doing a lot of educating people and stuff like that. So how about your art stuff?
Yeah. In high school, I took advanced art classes, and I really enjoyed painting. And I actually did murals for the school. So I'd paint on the school brick and help decorate and make big installations, actually. So I worked with the teachers and the principal to see, I did like basically art direction and helped with getting all of that assembled. But in my daily life now, since it's something that I didn't pursue for college or for career, now it's my hobby. But I think I know a lot of people say, oh, how do you make money? How do you make, when you're an artist? I think it's important to have some kind of hobby or skill that is outside of your career, because it'll help give you, help you with that extra pleasure and passion that you might not get in your job. But now I am working on learning more about Procreate and graphic design and illustration, digital illustration. So I'm starting to work on making artwork that way. But I still paint with acrylics. I do big paintings, and eventually maybe we'll sell that. For right now, I think I just want to keep it a hobby. But a lot of people in my family are very artistic. My dad is a big oil painter. My sister is also very digital illustration. She's, like I said, she's a pharmacist, but she also enjoys doing crafty kind of things. And my cousin, I have family in Long Beach as well. I have an aunt, uncle, and all my cousins in Long Beach. And one of my cousins, his name's Janie Samreth, and he is an artist as well. So he's lived in Cambodia for a little bit, came back to Long Beach. So it's something that makes me very happy, and it helps me to de-stress at the end of the day. And it's just really fun to do. But eventually, I want to continue making abstract art. And I think the Khmer community, we all have some artistic skill in our blood. I think about the temples like Angkor Wat, and like all the beautiful statues, the bronze statues, the stone statues. And I think that is something that makes me really proud to be Khmer, because I see how much beautiful artwork that we have. And I think that is something really important for the culture. The more that you invest in art, whether it's poetry and language, like, the movies, being a screenwriter, even being, painting, anything creative, I think helps to make that community and that particular culture stronger. So I think any of the artistic Khmer people I encounter, they're very inspirational, and it just makes me really proud and really happy to see and connect with all the Khmer artists that we have in our communities. So eventually I want to contribute to that and make a name for myself too. But I think right now I'm just kind of still in practice mode and building my portfolio.
Are you drawing mostly Cambodian art, or is it also American art?
I had a funny conversation with my husband the other day, because I was thinking about what art is. And I think because I'm Khmer, anything I make is Khmer art. But I do want to study more traditional art too, like the more folk art for Khmer, like all of the shadow puppets and all of the plays that we have with like the demon and the princess or the ghosts and things. I think they're so interesting, and I want to study that more. And I know that there's a tattoo artist I think he lives in Oregon or Washington. I think he's in Washington State, and he's really studied the details of like the crowns and the different, ways that the temples have been built and all of the design. And he maps that over certain time periods, so you can see how Khmer art develops and how it evolves. Right now, I think I'm still in more contemporary art. I like abstract, and I like just kind of graphic, everyday picture kind of things. But I probably will move into some traditional art soon. I just need to study it a little bit more. But I still sketch and play with it for right now. But I've seen a really unique artists, like jewelry makers, kind of reviving and doing like little apsara heads, but like on earrings for people. So it's very cool. I think I'm very interested, and I'm excited to see what all the artists in our community do.
Yeah, I think those Apsara things, well, I mean, in Cambodia they probably handmade, but over here in
Mhm.
the US they probably handmade one, and then after that they just cast it.
Yeah.
It's not really handmade. It's just kind of like cheated. But
Yeah, you just
your
mass
painting.
produce it. Mhm.
Exactly, because over here nobody have time to do actually each one abstract and sell it for 10 bucks, right? You
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
but in Cambodia, if they sell it for 50 bucks, they very happy. Do
Mhm.
you so you have like what Angkor Wat temples and stuff like that?
My dad painted those. I don't have any yet. I'm
No.
eventually going to paint, but mine are all very abstract or like kind of just like graphic, so very contemporary, like American contemporary art right now. Um, so I
And
don't
is it
have any
sellable?
traditional folk. Not
Is it
yet.
sellable?
I
Not
I need to
yet.
get it prepared. Yeah, I have to get them framed and prepared. They're not on sale yet, but I'm just building them right
Oh.
now. Hmm.
Okay, that's very good.
Yeah.
Sometime actually hobby can also become career, because
Hmm.
you can, yeah, because when you like to do something so much, you do it really, really good. And when you do it
Hmm.
really, really good, people like what you do, and that's when you make the money. And then you can
Hmm.
actually, a lot of people hobby turn into career. For me, I really don't know what I really want, but I just do a lot of different things. so so then I
Yeah.
just, okay, whatever that come to me, I'll just do it. I go
Hmm.
from, I also make jewelry. I do jewelries. I do clothes. I do cooking. I
Wow.
cook.
Yeah.
Through my life, I do a lot.
Hmm.
Phone. I do telephone. I do computer ITs, and now I do TV. So all different
Yeah.
things. But anyway, I think we come to the conclusion now. We come to the end now. So, what kind of advice do you have that you can give to our younger audience out there, so that they can, achieve their goal, their success in life, since they kind of like 17, 18, or 19, don't know how to navigate life yet? So, what do you have?
Yeah. I think uh, when you're young, the advice I have is to be very don't take for granted that you are Khmer. We have such a brilliant community with intelligent people and wonderful stories. I think the more that you can invest in and understand your identity as a Khmer person in America, if you're Khmer American, or maybe you just immigrated here and you are 100%, Khmer, I think the more that you see that there are a lot of opportunities for us to grow, that helps, with your endless opportunity, honestly. I think one, study what you're passionate about, and don't be afraid to get out of your comfort zone, even if it is, you know, meeting different people or talking to different people. But at the end of the day, I think we have our greatest treasures too at home, like get to know, who your parents are, your grandparents, hear their stories. There are a lot of things that I think if you pursue our own culture and our community and also show that to the world here in America or even international, there's a lot to share. I think sometimes being a Khmer person in America, you are pressured to change and to be more American or to be more whatever you want. But I think if you are an authentic person and you are proud of who you are and where you come from, I think that also will help you to be a more interesting person that people want to get to know you and even hire you because they're like, oh, you know, this person learned a lot. This person has a very unique story. And that makes us, I think, more competitive and a stronger community, I think, than a lot of other communities that I've seen and observed. We are very, very kind, and I think we're very like resilient people. Like you said, Boo, like you did a lot of different things in your lifetime, but I think that is a story, it's a theme that I see across a lot of Khmer people. like we're very resilient. We're like chameleons. We can change our colors. People can't always tell what we are. You always get the question like, "What are you?" And you have to explain that. But I think we have such a wonderful culture that's very rich, and I think the world should see that. I don't want to be Korean. I don't want to be more Chinese. I don't want to be Thai. I want to be Khmer, and I'm proud of that. And I want to, strengthen our community and support people in our community, and share that with the world. So I think I want to learn those skills from the outside world, and then to bring that inside and to lift up other Khmer people, I think is very, very worthwhile.
I think that sounds very good. I think the younger generation should be kind of like um, have to understand that the parents always want you to be, very very successful, which is lawyer, doctors,
Mm-hmm.
all of those stuff. So don't don't worry, because that's how we kind of like wire ourselves to be like that. So, but
Mm-hmm.
when you're at school, you just have to keep doing something that is good, that you think it's best. Then it's okay, because at the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
the parent will always go along with the children. They cannot say, hey, that's not good, I don't like you, or anything. But once you have your good career, like you right now, you have the career, then your parents say, okay, fine, right? They're not really
Yeah.
worried about
Yeah.
become anything else, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
because the bottom line is, as a parent, the bottom line is that you want the kid to have a really good career, a good life, healthy and good family, and that's all it
Mm-hmm.
matter.
Mm-hmm.
You married to the right person, and you have educate a good education. That way you can have a career where you don't have to worry about it, because if you don't have one job, you can find another one. If you don't have another job,
Mm-hmm.
you can find another one. That's the most important part, and that's the reason why the lawyers, the doctors, and everything come into play. But
Mm-hmm.
in your situation, I mean, once you have well, I did know that English can go into many different things. English, it's
Mm-hmm.
really good. It can do and can go to many different, like
Mm-hmm.
you can come into text and teach other people. So that's a very good thing. So you learn English, but you can actually do work in the tech sector, and the tech sector does always work for you out there.
Mm-hmm.
And another
Mm-hmm.
thing also is that you always have to ask people around. If you don't ask, then you don't know. So you keep
Mm-hmm.
asking whoever, doesn't matter. Go online and ask. I think just
Mm-hmm.
hook up with one of the Khmer communities. Right now we have social media, so I think the younger generation nowadays, it's much easier than your day, probably, because if they have question, they can just ask God, which is
Mm-hmm.
called OOGLE, right? So just
Yeah.
you ask that
Yes.
God, God will give you answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or you go to something called either Facebook or Twitter or whatever. You ask other people, you will get
Mm-hmm.
answer. So those are the things that you can find all of the answer, all the knowledge for you. That way you can prepare yourself for college, for your life, for your success. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Our program come to an end right now. Do you have any last word that you want to say to anybody out there?
Yeah. I think I'm just really excited to see, the growth and development of our community. I'm very grateful. Thank you for having me on Khmer TV. And I think I think the more that we can come together and you know build community, I think that's very important, and it'll uh, help us be more fruitful. So, thank you so much for all the work you do and for having me.
Thank you very much for spending your time with us today. Yeah. សូមអរគុណដល់ទូរទស្សនិកជនទាំងអស់ដែលបានតាមដានទស្សនាខ្មែរ TV តាំងពីដើមរហូតមកបាទសូមជូនពរឲ្យទូរទស្សនិកជនទាំងអស់ជួបប្រទះតែសេចក្តីសុខប្រកបមុខរបររកស៊ីមានបានហើយមានសុខភាពល្អបរិបូរណ៍គ្រប់ក្រុមគ្រួសារបាទពីយើងខ្ញុំទាំងពីរនាក់សូមអរគុណនិងសូមជម្រាបលា
Julia.
ជម្រាបលា